First information report bearing FIR number 358/2024 was lodged at PS Shastri Nagar, Patna, alleging a leak in the NEET UG 2024 question papers, implicating offences under sections 407, 408, and 409, read with section 120B of the Penal Code. On 23 June 2024, the Economic Offences Unit of Bihar Police issued a press release noting that in connection with the above FIR, 13 persons, including candidates and members of, and into inverted commas, members of the organized gang of examination leak.
Sorry, I should not interrupt. This is what I gave to the lordships. This is not true. That is what the Bihar police on that very day clarified.
Where is that clarification?
I had just given.
No, my friend is wrong.
This is what
No.
Bihar police clarified.
No, you are trying to cover up.
So this is on that very day published, Manoj, by the Bihar police. This is with regard to the news report of NEET UG exam published in the Sunday Express newspaper dated 23rd June. On its front page with the headline, Bihar police put...
So this press release is not an official press release?
No, that's what the Bihar police clarifies.
It's on their website.
Kindly read it further, Manoj. Paper leak in the... My running friend appears not for Bihar. He handed this over to me just now, Manoj. In the news item, the undersigned has been wrongly quoted and the name has been mentioned at least 3 times in the news item by the correspondent so-and-so. Whereas the matter of fact is that no such brief had been given by the undersigned to him in this regard, and neither the concerned correspondent ever contacted me before attributing the quote to the undersigned. No official press release or statement in this matter had been issued. This irresponsible act of correspondence is against
on second. According to the petitioners, on 23 June 2024, a press release was issued by the Economic Offences Unit of Bihar Police, setting out in regard to the paper leak which had taken place. On the other hand, from a communication dated 23 June 2024 addressed by the Additional DGP Economic Offences Unit, it has been stated that no official press release or statement
That's an act of cover up.
had been issued by the Bihar Police. But stop. Be that as it may, in this batch of petitions, one of the primary reliefs which has been sought is for a court-mandated retest of the entire process which took place, culminating in the examination which was conducted on 5 May 2024. Stop. In support of the case, in support of their case, the petitioners have relied on two primary circumstances. First, it has been submitted that before that, you can just say the NEET UG 2024 examination consisted of multiple choice questions involving a total of 180 questions, Let's stop. Each of the 180 questions carried 4 marks, making for a total of 720 marks for the examination. 45 marks each were allotted to the segments in physics,
chemistry,
chemistry,
biology,
Geology,
botany and zoology.
geology and
Botany and zoology.
physics, chemistry, botany, and zoology.
geology.
Extra. The examination envisaged the award of negative marks of one negative mark
Per wrong answer.
per wrong answer. Next. In support of the plea that the court should direct a re-examination, the petitioners have primarily relied on 2 circumstances. First, it has been submitted that that candidates securing the maximum of 720 marks are confined to a few students, between 2020 and 2023. In 2020, full stop. As opposed to this, in the NEET UG 2024, as many as 67 candidates are reported to have secured a maximum of 720 marks. The submission can best be highlighted by reproducing the chart which has been placed during the course of the hearing. A copy कर लीजिए, हाँ? The above chart indicates that while one student in 2020, 3 students in 2021, 1 student in 2022, and 2 students in 2023 secured the maximum marks, there's been a radical increase in the students securing the maximum of 720 marks in 2024. Apart from the second submission, proceeds on a comparative tabulation of the ranks which were allotted to students in 2022, 2023, and 2024.
For me, most important, the leak has happened. That is the core.
The second, the above submission is sought to be highlighted from the following tabulated chart. वो भी डाल दीजिए इसमें BB. The above chart indicates that students receiving a specific level of marks between 539 and 700 who had secured a particular rank in 2022 secured lower ranks in 2023 and a radically lower rank in 2024. No. Same marks, same level of marks, not same student. Stop. Next. Considering whether, before that you can say, it is certain basic facts which are not in dispute need to be alluded to. Let's talk about 24 lakh students registered for the NEET UG examination, which was to be conducted in the month of May 2024. Stop. about 23.33 lakh students, correct?
Yes, sir.
Appeared for the 23 lakhs 33,297 students. वो कौशल जी बताइए क्या फिगर क्या है? 23 lakhs 23,290 students, 297 students appeared for the examination. The examination was conducted at 4750 centers comprised within 571 cities. Stop. The examination was also held in 14 cities overseas. Stop. The total number of seats, medical seats for undergraduate. One second, I've made a note. For undergraduate studies is 1.08 lakhs, of which approximately 56,000 are seats in government hospitals. Stop. The investigation, prima facie, from tentatively at the present stage, the court has been apprised of the fact that don't say tentatively, the court has been apprised of the fact that first information reports were registered in Patna, Delhi, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Jharkhand, and Maharashtra. Correct? Full stop. Whether the FIRs in relation to the paper leak is only confined to Patna, yes, or otherwise, is a matter which would have to be reserved for a more detailed elaboration, detailed consideration. Stop. The above narration indicates that the examination was conducted over a wide spectrum comprising of nearly 23 lakh students spread over 4,750 centers in India. Stop. Before the court can be full stop. The law on whether a retest should be ordered in a situation such as the present is based on fairly settled parameters. Full stop. The court would have to scrutinize on the basis of the data which has emerged on the record whether colon bracket 1 breach in the sanctity of the examination has taken place, whether bracket 1 the alleged breach has taken place at a systemic level or at a systemic level, semicolon, bracket 2, whether the breach is of a nature which has affected the integrity of the entire examinations process, and 3, whether it is possible to segregate beneficiaries of the fraud from the untainted students. Stop. In a situation where the breach in the sanctity of an examination affects the entirety of the process, and it is not possible to segregate those who are beneficiaries of wrongdoing from others, it may be necessary to order re-examination. On the other contrary wise, where the breach is confined to specific areas or centers, and it is possible to identify those who are beneficiaries of wrongdoing, it may not be appropriate to order a retest, particularly in an examination which has been conducted on such a massive scale, involving over 23 lakh students. Involving such a large body of students who would have appeared, who have studied for the examination, undertaken costs and expenses, and would have to undergo the rigors of a fresh examination if it were to be ordered by the court. Next. While flagging these issues, while flagging the above issues, we are of the view that view on the merits would have to be deferred until further facts are placed on the record before this court. Full stop. For that purpose, we intend to direct the National Testing Agency to make a full disclosure before the court. Full stop. The disclosure which we are intending to require can broadly be classified into three aspects. The first aspect pertains to the nature of the leak, places where the leak took place, and the lag of time between the occurrence of the leak and the conduct of the examination. And this, from this perspective, NTA is directed to clarify on the basis of the material which is in its possession as of date on the following issues. Bracket 1. When the leak of the question papers has first taken place. 2. The manner in which the question papers were leaked or disseminated. Bracket 3. The duration between the time duration between the occurrence of the leak and the actual conduct of the examination, which took place at 2 p.m. between 2 p.m. and 5:20 p.m. on 5 May 2024. The second, while making the full stop, on the above aspect, we are also of the view that since the investigation has been entrusted to the CBI, the status report should be filed by the investigating officer before this court, indicating the status of indicating
partner. For me, that's a core.
The status of the investigation up to date and the material which has come to light during the course of the investigation. But one may when the leak first was first noticed. Karlo. The investigating officer shall in particular indicate to this court, I shall place before this court material which has been gathered during the course of the investigation, which would have a bearing on when the leak is alleged to have first taken place, in the modalities in which the leaked question papers were made available. Stop. On the second perspective, the second aspect on which we NTA shall make a disclosure to this court is in regard to the steps which have been taken so far for identification of the beneficiaries of the leak. In this regard, the court will be apprised inter alia of the following: bracket 1. How many students? What were the steps which were taken by NTA to identify centers stroke cities at which the leak took place, to modalities followed for identifying the beneficiaries of the leak, and 3, the number of students who have so far been identified to be the beneficiaries of the leaked question papers. Likewise, the investigating officers
May say NTA stroke authority, because identification may not be within our.
All right. The above information, I'll clarify while editing. I'll put it so that it will be more the Ministry of Home Affairs or some other one.
Not the leak will be at one place. At how many centers the leak paper has been made available? Because the leak will be in the entire system at one place.
No. We have said that dissemination also we have said. The investigating officer shall also submit a status report bearing on the above aspects.
Yes.
Well, it's one point.
Third,
Yeah.
the third aspect on which it is necessary to have a further disclosure by the union government as well as by NTA. We'll say union government and NTA. Is whether it is possible by the union government and NTA, is whether it would be is on whether
Technically feasible.
whether it would be feasible using data analytics either within the cyber forensic unit or any other expert agencies within or which may be employed by the government to identify cases where suspect cases full stop. For instance, these cases may involve full stop. This may be if this is possible, the authorities shall identify before the court identify the modalities which can be followed so as to segregate the tainted from the untainted students. Next. The third aspect on which we would require a disclosure is in regard to the modalities to be followed between the conclusion of the examination, including the retest which was held for 1563 students, and the actual commencement of the counseling process. Full stop. If an exercise is to be conducted by the NTA and by the union government so as to deduce any further beneficiaries of the question paper leakage, a considered decision at the policy level would have to be taken by the government on whether counseling should be allowed to proceed in the meantime or otherwise.
It may not say that.
On the status of the council. Fourthly, the court is concerned about the steps which should be taken hereafter to ensure the sanctity of the national eligibility cum entrance test, so that such instances which have transpired during the course of the present session are not repeated in the future. In this regard, just 1 second, please. In this regard, it would be necessary for the government to consider setting up a multidisciplinary team consisting of renowned experts who command the wider confidence of the community to ensure that due measures are being taken to obviate any further breaches in the NEET in the future. Let's stop. If a committee has already been set up by the government for deducing the steps to be taken for the future, full details shall be made available to the court. Full stop. The court may then consider whether the committee which has been constituted by the government should be allowed to proceed as it is, whether the composition of the committee should be
Enhanced.
be sufficiently enhanced to bring so as to bring together a pool of talent from diverse fields, bearing not only on administration but also on domain expertise and data analytics.
So, Lords, I have only one sanction.
Learned Solicitor General and Mr. Kaushik, Learned Senior Counsel appearing, Solicitor General appearing for the Union of India, and Mr. Kaushik, Learned Senior Counsel appearing for the NTA, have requested the court to place the further hearing on Thursday ka date, so as to enable them to make their to file the material in pursuance of the above queries by 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Full stop. The affidavit shall be shared with counsel appearing on behalf of the petitioners simultaneously. The report of the investigating officer of the CBI shall also be placed on the record in the meantime.
May I be only be clear to say one aspect?
So, I'll tell you why. Let there be, the reason why we are asking for this disclosure, whatever view we ultimately take, let there be confidence in the community that
Absolutely. We are not very.
Lords, I have only one
Share your lordship's views.
The entire.
Lords, can I make one?
May I request that the copy will serve to us as well?
In view of the large number of counsel who are appearing on the side of the petitioners, we have requested that it has been agreed who will be the nodal counsel.
Whosoever filed. Whosoever not done. Mr. Suvik Sharma, my lord, who is
Independently sometime.
All right. Shall act as nodal counsel.
Yeah.
All the counsel for the petitioners who are desirous of pressing their submission for a retest shall file a common set of submissions not exceeding 10 pages before the hearing takes place on Thursday ka date.
My lords, kindly allow the improvement of petition, my lord.
The petitioner on this side, my lord, can it be also be
Time of loss, my lord.
on this side? Because there's a fact that
You are being supported by these.
I appreciate, but I also want to get out the fact that happened in our case in Gujarat. Here, all cases where they
Why don't you do this? Give us a short one-page note. That will be more.
very well. Very.
And as wherever your lordships have said petitioners, there are transfer petitions where we are essentially respondents.
And this is beyond the leak, my lord.
Beyond the leak also.
Yes, my lord, there is also a
They have changed the answer also. They have changed answer of one question and allotted the number by that.
Yes, my lord. In fact, it's happened in my case also, wherein there are 3 answers. When
We all are doing this.
Mr. Solicitor, we have not specifically in our order included the red flags. If you can just
You have understood.
right.
sir?
I deliberately didn't put it into our order, but you can just see whether there are some cases like that which you can identify.
That-
See, so that then
We have filed.
I'd like to
cases.
in that case,
These have been served. Perhaps they are not given copies. The other ones who are intervening or etc.
what we would suggest is what you give us on
Give to
Thursday.
everyone.
Give to us, and one more thing, what you give us on Thursday, make it comprehensive so that we don't have to wait through your counters and everything. We'll just look at that basically.
Manoj, may I just make one small request? Some of us are respondents.
We've now chalked out our roadmap.
Lord, our diary
If we can, using whatever technology, common sense, and our understanding of the law, identify the wrongdoing students. We then don't have to ask 23 lakh students to again appear for the exam. If we have no other go, of course we are there too.
For us to file that once
Kindly allow the implement applications.
for us to file that one page,
38.
our diary number to be
Which is
recorded.
that matter? NEET matter.
Lord,
Manoj,
Lord, our
All right. Yes,
Our-
there are three other matters which we have to take. Sorry.
My lord,
Our diary number may be noted, so
My lord.
file the page. Our diary number may be noted.
All right. Any other fresh matters on NEET which were not on board?
Yes, Lord.
After we rise, you can give the matters numbers to the court master. He will bring them on board.
my lords, kindly allow the implement application.
One more thing, Mr. Solicitor, has everybody served their petitions on the council basis?
But we have not
All right.
replies, my lords.
All right, one second. The council appearing for all the petitioners, council appearing for all the petitioners, interveners, shall serve copies. On whom should we say?
Central, MK Maroria.
On Shri M.K. Maruria, and Mr. Vardhaman Kaushik, counsel appearing, counsel instructing the Solicitor General and Mr. Kaushik, R.C. Kaushik respectively. The two counsel appearing on behalf of the two counsel, Mr. Maroria and Mr. The Union of India and the NTA shall prepare a tabulated statement indicating for each petition, tabulated statement grouping the petitions into distinct categories so as to facilitate disposal. So what you can do is those which are asking for a retest, you can put in one category. Then individual grievances, then we'll see whether those grievances can be entertained, whether we ask you to look into it, what to do. But we'll have one tabulated chart on petitions.
Make it easy.
Manoj, may I just request one indulgence?
That's why we said, therefore you serve a copy on the solicitor's.
But they have changed the answer also. They have changed answer of the one and have given the more marks to 13,000 students. That created problem for my lord, ranking is concerned.
But look, this is nothing. Therefore, those petitions we may have to delink. They are individual petitions. Those are individual petitions where you say you have a medical condition, you should have been given extra time. We'll deal with it separately. It does not deal with the sanctity of the examination. That's individual students' petition.
This order should not be deemed to be as restricting only to the case of leak because between the.
Not at all. In fact, that's why we have finally said this.
For the reason, my lords, on the 8th, while the exam was announced for the 5th, my lords, of May, on the 8th of April, overnight, my lords, they brought about a notification that there will be a window open for students who could not register for the exam way back on 16th of March. Now, this window that they opened, my lords, is absolutely difficult to understand.
So more students registered.
And
25,000 and
That we can now.
Manoj, I'm appearing an item
Thing to do with
request for 1 second of indulgence. Manoj,
Look,
there are
more students registering, etc. How can we
utmost respect, because the initial advertisement
we'll hear you? We'll hear you on that. We'll hear you on that.
the entire result, the entire comprehensive result should be put on the website. Right now, what's happening is individual results only are put up. So somebody has to go. So we can't.
Mr. Kaushik, the entire result, except for those which you have, we will say that these results shall not give rise to any equities or legal rights. But you must at least now upload the result.
Yes, the entire results,
The result,
comprehensive.
the revised,
Data science can work here.
1 second.
the revised result of 1563 and the rest of the persons, all has been uploaded on 30th.
No.
Individually.
But do you have
They have
loaded?
So that is why we can't use data science. That's the problem. If they are deliberately keeping
Under wraps.
No, this would, your lordships may take a call on that on Thursday. But there is something,
We'll apply mine happily on.
Please, my lord.
kindly, my lord.
My lord, it has also moved certain transfer applications. Because the NTA's
Maybe the
Acha, wo unka
track
karna
record,
hai. Huh?
track record of the toppers may be also looked at.
Withdrawn. Already, yeah, like, what?
No,
Oblige you.
Just 1 second. Just 1 second. 35. Parmeshwar, the reason we kept your matter today was, now, we knew that we can't take it up today, but what is the scope now, this All India judges?
It's,
I appear in item 35.
Your Lordship,
My IA alone has been.
Only his IA is there.
so what's happened, my lords, your Lordships have put it up for compliance today. Your Lordships, orders for the past 2 years have not been complied with. At least 8 or 9 states have not released pension and allowance arrears, even though your Lordships on multiple occasions extended the time limit for payment of those allowances.
So-
That's not been complied.
Should we just take up on Thursday the issue of compliance? There?
That's right. Thursday. So that's also, so far as compliance is concerned.
Compliance.
On the main, there's only one substantive issue.
Pension.
It's pension, my lords, old pension scheme versus new pension scheme. That's the only substantive issue, and that because there are conflicts.
How long will we take on
But
that?
all the submissions that are compiled and have been put in, I will take about 2-3 hours to explain the consequences of shifting from the old, and also to explain why
We'll have to take it up on a Tuesday, I think.
We will have to argue.
Yeah.
there's substantial argument from the state and.
So we'll take it up on a Tuesday. So this, what we'll do is today we'll keep your matter on Thursday, only for compliance of the payment of allowances, etc. by the state. That the union has no role.
124 order for
For
compliance.
124 order. So we'll keep that on Thursday. We'll take up the issue of compliance.
There is an IA listed today, Millets. There is an IA listed today. There is a fresh IA listed today.
Three countries, Kerala, West Bengal, and Odisha, Malad. They have passed the circular Malad. This is the Malad's order.
That's right.
That is what Parmeshwar is also arguing. No difficulty.
Micah
May I
says,
submit?
Mike is there.
May I submit, Millets? Today there is an IA Millets.
So,
That's
item
with regard to
38.
superannuation. Millets, the High Court has submitted an application before your lordships, and also the state government has given its willingness that it could be extended. It only requires your lordship's imprimatur.
Parmeshwar.
That could be taken up on Thursday.
It can be taken up on Thursday.
All right, just surprise us on Thursday.
Thursday.
At the fag end of the day now.
Millets,
We'll
Thursday.
take it up on
Keep it.
Thursday.
Otherwise, they would be
Any
retired.
numbers just give. Chetan.
Yes, we'll give that.
okay, first part never fixes time.
Take it up on
Yeah,
Thursday.
whenever it's got.
Yeah, my lords, your lordship. This refers to the National Commission, your lordship.
Yes.
Thank you so much for giving time. It refers to the National Commission on Allied Healthcare Professionals. It was already notified in 2021.
And we had issued notice in this on 22nd.
Your lordship, it was issues, the notices were issued in September last year.
What has happened now?
But till now, about 19 states, parties have not even entered appearance, your lordship. And only 6 have only just filed their, 6 states have actually filed their, replies so far.
Can you give us a little tabulated chart? We can keep it on Thursday.
Can we do it on next Monday, your lordship?
Okay, we can do it. We can take it up on Monday.
Monday.
If you can just give us a tabulated note.
Yes.
So that which are the states which have implemented, which have not, and
Yes.
which are the states which have not filed reply.
Absolutely.
We'll give them one last opportunity, or they'll ask the chief secretaries to remain present or something like that. So they'll file their reply.
Your lordship, 3 years, it was actually done. I'll just take you 30 seconds. This was actually done primarily after the COVID pandemic, after the first wave. And we did not have a national register to know how many allied healthcare workers were there in this country. And after 3 years of passing of this legislation in the parliament, even now, it hasn't been actualized, Your Lordship.
All right. So we'll
Extremely serious.
pass comprehensive directions on Monday next.
Thank you, Lordship.
After you give us a note, you can just sort of also identify what are the proposed directions which you are seeking at this stage. So that we pass those directions.
Deeply obliged. Thank you. Thank you.
My Lord, Senior Advocate Meenakshi ma'am is appearing online.
My lords, this is the Manipur matter. My lords, we're pleased to pass directions on 4th of December 2023 for the displaced students. Now, my lords, these are 59 students, and we are now into the next year, and we haven't been able to get admission. The learned solicitor was behind. He said,
I get to appear, my lords. We have found some solution to the, my lords, some of the students' grievances that came to us after your lordship's last order of 17th of May 24. But my lords, for dental, we are yet to find solutions. If your lordships will call this next week, I'll file a status report on what solutions we have found for the Manipur University students. And for dental, we will come up with a proposal. It's at the final stages, my lords. Kindly call it next week.
On Monday, then we can take a.
my lords, I have a request. I have a request for my learned colleague on the other
Monday,
side.
then we can take
Certain solutions that have been suggested is like the students would study in a university like the Assam University or the Northeastern Hill University. Now, but they would take their exam from Manipur University. For many of them, it is said, we do not have courses or we do not have the equivalent subject or the syllabus in these other universities, so we cannot take you in. Or you may use our facility like a library or a lab, but we can't assist you anymore. That does not work. There are students from zoology, there are students from chemistry and other streams. Even if they have to use a laboratory.
Can we suggest this, Ms. Bhati? If Ms. Arora and Ms. Bhati, if you can just meet between the two of you.
Yes, we'll do that.
Ms. Arora, if you can just indicate what the practical problems are.
Yes.
Tomorrow, if you meet, we keep it on Monday so that if Ms. Bhati can take instructions from the Advocate General is here,
yes,
sort it out to the extent it is possible. Otherwise, we'll issue directions on Monday.
My lord, I will meet with her, and we have also given a detailed written note. But be that as it,
right,
surely
the small also, so that we can then pass orders on Monday.
4,750.
My lords, the dental students, my lords, my only request is with the process can be expedited. My lords, they've been waiting
give us specific.
I think
the next session is starting.
We'll complete it on Monday.
Centers
We'll pass
were abroad.
orders. 571 just for dental students instead of arguing orally. How many centers abroad? Give us a one page, just in bullet point what the problem is.
Please,
becomes a little easier then, because there's
Centers.
Now tell us, how many students appeared totally?
24 lakhs around it. Around 24 lakhs.
You have the precise figure?
23 lakhs, 73 lakhs. I'll give your lordships in the
23 lakhs?
33,297.
Here against registration of 24 lakhs and plus. 72,000 students, my lords, did not take the exam, sped registration.
Now, how were the papers distributed abroad?
They were sent lists. And
when were they sent abroad?
The embassies, through the embassies.
And how were they sent to the embassies?
We'll get the details on it.
Were they sent by the diplomatic bag? Were they sent by courier?
I'll find out later.
And
it's on record.
And second, if the now they were the exam was held in as many as 4,750 centers.
Yes, please.
In 571 cities.
Yes, please.
Right?
Yes, please.
Now, when you say that the two booklets, we'll call them,
yes,
A and B, set A and set B.
Yes.
They were sent to these cities. When were they sent to these cities?
Yes, please.
When were they sent to these cities?
Approximately about 5.
We don't want to approximate. Tell us the precise dates.
I'll get the exact dates.
When were they and how were they sent to those cities?
Yes, please. I'll get the dates. Bihar police
and were they lodged in the State Bank and Canara Bank in each of these cities, or what happened?
Each of the cities minutes, they are lodged with the custodians who are minutes Canara Bank and State Bank.
So we want to know on what date were the question papers sent? Where were they? When were they? When the question papers were prepared?
Yes, minutes.
Right? Question papers are prepared by one person or more than one person?
Group of experts. Question papers are prepared at the headquarters.
Where are the headquarters? Delhi.
In Delhi.
So two sets are prepared by two different groups or one group?
By the same group.
One second.
The same group of experts prepares two different sets of question papers.
At the headquarters?
Yes.
After they are prepared, they are given to the NTA?
Yes, please.
Right. Now, tell us when did the group of persons conduct the, prepare the question papers and give you the question papers?
Dates. I'll get the date.
Right. We want to know what was the date on which these question papers were prepared and given to you.
Yes,
Point one.
Yes, please.
After they were received by NTA, in what custody they were preserved? When did NTA send them to the State Bank of India and Canara Bank into different cities?
In between, printing is there.
Right.
Printing presses.
So
when are they sent to the printing press?
Which is a printing press?
Yes, please. We will get the details.
We want to know which is the printing press.
Yes, please.
When did you send these question papers to the printing press?
Yes, please.
What were the transportation arrangements made for sending them to the printing press?
Yes, please.
When did the printing press, after the printing press prints them? We are now talking of 24 lakhs, 50 lakh sets.
Yes.
Right? Because 24 lakh had, how many sets were printed?
Correct.
And after they were printed, where were they sent? Are they sent back to the headquarters at Delhi?
Yes, please.
Huh?
The remaining sheets,
No.
unutilized ones.
No. After the question paper is set, it is sent for printing.
Yes.
You have a printing press A.
Yes.
You need not tell us where the printing press is. Otherwise, next year they will go to that printing press.
It's there.
Now, it is sent to that printing press.
Yes, please.
Right? How is it sent to the printing press? Under what custody?
Yes.
Second, after they are printed, how does the printing press send it back to NTA? Between that date and give us that date, how many days had elapsed between that and the distribution of the question papers to these 471 cities and 4,750 centers?
The entire movement minutes I'll prepare a track.
Right?
Starting from the preparation of the question paper.
See, I'll tell you why we are asking. If we come to the conclusion that the time lag between the leak and the actual date of the examination is relatively limited, then that would be a circumstance which would militate against holding a retest.
Not sure.
If the time lag between the leak and the actual examination, Brother Mishram actually mentioned, is wider, then there's a greater chance that the malaise is across the system.
Correct. I get it, minutes, I'll get the time.
If it appears that the question papers were leaked on the morning of the 5th, exam was scheduled at 2 o'clock, students were made to memorize the questions, that may be one indicator that the leak was not as widespread. Somebody who has a question paper is not going to ask students to sit down and memorize them and give on the spot, memorize them. How many answers can a student memorize?
There are two aspects to it.
Therefore, we have to have some clarity on facts for us to understand whether this is so systemic that we must order a retest. See, there are two or three considerations which way. One, if the sanctity of the examination has been lost, then a retest has to be ordered, right?
Yeah.
If we are not able to identify candidates who are guilty of wrongdoing, a retest has to be ordered. If you can't distinguish the grain from the chaff, that is the tainted from the untainted, a retest has to be ordered.
Your Lordship, judgment.
On the other hand, we are dealing with now a situation of 23 lakh students. It may be far-fetched for us to at least presume, unless they point out material to us, that all 23 lakh students or a substantial number of them are involved in the fraud. For what we know, a large number of students may be just honest students who have appeared for the exam.
Large number are honest. Large number.
Therefore, we have to see if, second, what was the modality? One more very important aspect.
Yes,
what was the modality in which the leak was detected? If the leak took place, if the modality of the leak is through electronic means, social media, then there is a possibility that the leak is extremely wide.
Well, that is the point. What your lordship said is all correct.
Just 1 second.
They pass the electronic media.
Matthew, one second. Answer this, please. We are flagging these issues. We want you to therefore give us a comprehensive analysis of dates.
Certainly.
Because if the leak is taking place through, say, Telegram, if it is taken through WhatsApp,
that happened.
Because if it's through social media or any electronic means of communication, it spreads like wildfire.
Yes.
On the other hand, we must also balance it out about the time at which the leak takes place. If it's more or less in the morning of the 5th, then the time between when the leak takes place and the students have to go for the examination is very limited.
On the time.
This is a hard decision, but there is
one more thing in which we require some assistance from both sides. Please don't treat it as an adversarial litigation. For the reason that whatever view we ultimately take, this view is impacting the lives of 20 lakh students. Second, we want to understand, is it possible for the court to identify red flags? Right? So, can we identify, either we do it or we appoint an expert committee to identify the red flags? I'll give you some examples of red flags. 720 out of 720. All right, everybody out of who gets 720 is not a fraudster. There may be still people who are extraordinarily bright, that 720 out of 720. But we found that for the previous years, the proportion was very low. Now, this year, suddenly it goes up to 67. How many out of those 720 are people from that 1563 who are beneficiaries of the added grace mark?
We have given the details in our counter affidavit.
No.
81 places.
No, we just want you to now put it down on a piece of paper for us. Second, we want to understand this. So, a change in centers is possible, right? A change in centers is possible. Suppose a student, I was just telling my brothers at lunch, suppose a student is registered at Lucknow. Suddenly you find that student has gone from Lucknow to a distant center therapy.